Hi, I'm Amber from Influencer Updates on Instagram. I'm also on TikTok and Facebook, and then I post this live every week to Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and YouTube. So please like, subscribe, follow on all of those platforms. If possible, please, that really helps my channel grow. So this week, as per usual, I'm going to be answering anonymously submitted questions. I don't know who submitted them. It was a link put on my story. So thank you to those of you who did submit a question. I feel like it's been a bit of a slow week in influencer world, which I never really say because normally it's full of drama. But I didn't get as many questions as usual, and I feel like on my subscribers I've been posting a little bit less this week just because not as much has been going on. But I'm sure we are still going to be able to fill 40 minutes of chatting together. That is usually my goal. It is a Saturday night rather than a Friday night. So if you're a bit confused by the timing there, it is because I was away and I thought I'm going to get back today at 5 o'clock. So I've been back for 3 hours. It's just much easier for everybody if I can film in my natural habitat. All right, so let's get started with the questions. I suppose the juiciest question that has come through this week is about Tammy Hembrow, of course, my favourite to talk about. The Outspoken podcast dropped some bombshells. I think it was yesterday. I haven't actually updated subscribers on this. So I need to do that. But they said that somebody sent them in a video. So they filmed it at the beach. They filmed Tammy and Reece with their children. So Outspoken didn't want to repost the video because it had the children in it, and also Tammy and Reece weren't aware that they were being filmed, so they just felt that it wasn't the right thing to do. And I really loved that they held those morals firm, you know. And they were saying that in the video, Reece was adjusting Tammy's straw hat in a very flirtatious manner. Now, I know that would sound very dramatic to some people, but I totally get what they mean. And there's definitely a physical chemistry, at least, between this couple, ex-couple, I should say. They used to be engaged many years ago. Reece Hawkins, I think a lot of people don't know this, that he was also married to London Goheen. So they have a child together called Stone. He is a boy. And she was recently engaged this week. She got engaged to her partner. I've got his name here. Tosh Berman. So she is American and she is engaged to an American, hence the name Tosh, because that sounds just so American, doesn't it? But she posted a photo of herself with her son Stone, and you could very much see an engagement ring in the image. She didn't formally announce that she's engaged. She does have a really big following. I think she has about 700,000 on Instagram, but I noticed that she never does any paid content. So I don't think she's using her following to do influencing. So I don't know what sort of income she'd be making, but I have heard that this Tosh Berman person is very wealthy. So Reece used to be married to her. I believe they just got married more sort of for the legal sense because they didn't have a wedding, and because she was American, they then tried to move to America. She moved in with her parents and Stone went with her, and he wasn't allowed into America. I believe it's because he had overstayed a previous visa, and then I assume they were applying for like a green card and stuff, and that's why they got married. They were engaged, but I assume that's why they sort of did the legal process to get him married. He was living in Mexico while this was all waiting to happen, and then they ended up breaking up. But that is a little bit of background on Reece for those who didn't know that little story, and it was timely with London getting engaged. I think it was this week. At least I only noticed it this week. So a lot of people are living for this. They're loving the idea of Tammy and Reece getting back together. I'm absolutely horrified. Obviously, if that's what they want, great for them. But I'm just horrified by it. I just think surely there's more men out there that would be more appropriate than your ex-fiance. But then at the same time, who knows, maybe them separating and growing in their own ways and dating other people. And they were together from a very young age when they had Wolf and Saskia, their two children. So I guess, also Tammy wasn't famous when they met, and then she got very, very famous. That would have put a very big strain on the relationship. So maybe now they've gone and done their separate things and they've come back together and they thought, well, this is actually really nice being together and being with our kids and being with each other again, and they've got that history. So the more I talk about it, the more I can see the pros of this situation. But my initial reaction is just what is happening here? But I think I'm the odd one out there. Everybody's absolutely living for it. Any other Tammy updates? No, I mean, she did say that the Outspoken podcast covered this as well. I didn't actually hear her say this on her stories, but she was saying that she was in hospital this week for some surprise reason that she'll talk about recently or something. I mean, she'll talk about soon. And she realised she's gained weight because they had to weigh her for it. And the Outspoken podcast, they were saying that she very much was making it sound like she's pregnant and that they would have to weigh her for being pregnant and that she's gained weight. But I do agree. She probably is baiting pregnancy. She's very smart with her social media, and everybody seems to love to know if somebody is pregnant before they announce it. That seems to be the hottest topic going around the internet of the Australian influencer world. But yeah, I don't believe that she's pregnant. I think that the Outspoken girls, they did mention that she's probably just getting some sort of like medical for a TV show that she has been on. They were saying the Shark Infested Waters one, and might have been to do with that, or maybe she's going on another TV show. So that was interesting. I hadn't heard that theory before, but it's very possible. Maybe she is. Oh no, I was going to say, imagine if she's one of the intruders on the I'm a Celebrity Get Me Out of Here TV show, but no, that's already been filmed. So that is another, I'll actually segue into that topic right now. So a lot of people have, every time I post about the I'm a Celebrity Get Me Out of Here Australia, the new season, I get so many people saying to me, no, this is live, like this can't be true because it's live, and they can't have already done this because it's live. And I'm like, but it's not live. Like if you look on the internet, it is not live this season. They filmed it late last year, and it is not live. I don't know how the voting at the end is going to work. I don't know how the voting for the challenges is going to work, but it is not live. It is pre-filmed. I believe, my theory is that it's because of like Rob's schedule. Like he is a big name in America now, Robert Irwin, and I imagine that that's why. It probably helps with everybody's schedule really, to be able to pre-film it rather than filming it live, and like flying people in and out of South Africa. Like I think it would make it easier for everybody, so I can see why they do it. Maybe it's a budget thing. Anyway, So Dramatic, the podcast, yesterday, or the 16th of January, I think that's yesterday, they released a podcast episode, or Megan released a podcast episode revealing the full cast of the 2026 season of I'm a Celebrity Get Me Out of Here. If you don't want the spoilers, please don't listen for the next 30 seconds. I'm going to go through the names right now of who's going to be on. If you want details of all these people, please listen to her episode because she obviously explains who all of these celebrities are. First one, which has been publicly announced, Luke Bateman. He is a rugby player. He was also on The Bachelor when they had 3 bachelors. Next one is Matt Zukowski, who we all would know. If you watch my channel, if you listen to my lives, you would know that by now. The next one is Sorrel Paul, otherwise known as Cyclone Sorrel. She is an ex-MAFS contestant. She was also on The Challenge. She is partnered with, or maybe engaged to, Eden, who was in Love Island. Yeah, Love Island season 1 of Australia. He was also on some other show, maybe The Challenge as well. Not sure, but they do have a child together. And she famously got into a brawl on MAFS with Martha Kalifatidis. The next one is George Columbaris. He is from MasterChef. He is a famous chef, which they always put a famous chef in there because then they can turn the disgusting food that they get into some sort of meal. The next one is Mia Favola. So her clue was Jungle Princess. And the reason why that clue is fitting is because her father, Brendan Favola, he won I'm a Celebrity Get Me Out of Here a few years ago. So he is the Jungle King. So now that's why she is a Jungle Princess. I thought that was quite clever. I like the way they do their clues. The next one is Concerta Caristo. Can't remember who she is. The next one is Rebecca Almaloglu. Not sure who she is either. One of them is from Neighbours. When I was listening to the podcast, they were explaining one of them is from Neighbours. The other one I can't remember. Then the Hollywood star is the dad from the Brady Bunch. The next one is the singer Denny Hines, who I'm sure you're all familiar with. She is the daughter of Marsha Hines. And then the final one is Angry Ginge. So Angry Ginge is a very famous UK YouTuber, I believe Megan was saying, and he also just won the most recent season of the UK I'm a Celebrity Get Me Out of Here. So he is very well accustomed to the challenges and the living conditions, so he's probably in for a good chance of making it quite far, but I don't imagine Australians would vote for him to win because he is from the UK. And it's the Australian I'm a Celebrity Get Me Out of Here. Anyway, that was a long first two topics. I'm going to have a look at the comments, what people are saying about Tammy and what people are saying about I'm a Celebrity, Get Me Out of Here. Sorry, I just had to scroll back. People are saying Tammy deserves to be happy after essentially, London deserves to be happy after essentially being left holding the baby. Well, yeah, I mean, everyone deserves to be happy, don't they? Interestingly, London's new fiance is a partner in Travis Kelce's restaurant. Oh, there you go, rubbing shoulders with celebrities. Maybe she'll be besties with Taylor Swift, like Steph Claire Smith used to be. I noticed with the 2016 flashbacks, there was a restaurant that Taylor Swift and Steph Claire Smith went to, and they've posted a photo of them at the restaurant, like a flashback to 2016. So it must have been 2016 when they were hanging out. Someone's like, who is this about? You can pretty safely assume that if I'm talking, it's about Tammy Hembrow. Oh yeah, this is a good point, that the reason why they would pre-film I'm a Celebrity, Get Me Out of Here is so that they can edit out what they want. Definitely, like it would be so much easier for the producers and the editors and everything to edit a better story arc. Rebecca was on Home and Away back in the day. Hasn't the dad from the Brady Bunch died? Yes, so there was one that died, but then, because I thought the same thing, but I was continuing to Google, and I can't remember what his name is, but there was another one. Maybe he's from like the Brady Bunch movie rather than the TV show or something, but yeah, he's definitely alive. Is Jungle Princess Abby Chatfield? No, she actually, I'm pretty sure she won her season a few years ago. She's already been into the jungle. All right, we're up to date with all the comments. Comments. All right, so the other questions that we had, there's a lot that sort of weren't very timely. Like I try to keep the questions things that are happening this week. A lot of people still talking about Lockie Neal, but I feel like that's old news now. I mean, we all know what we need to know. Someone has asked here, has Alyssa Jane given birth? It looked like she was yesterday, but then posted pics today from Autumn's birthday. So yeah, Alyssa Jane has been posting yesterday that she's in hospital and that like she went in for a checkup and then they said, okay, you've got to give birth now. And then today, all of a sudden, she's posting that she's at home hosting a birthday party for her 3-year-old, like her girl that's just turned 3. Well, she's turning 3 on the 19th of January, which is in 2 days. So everyone's a little bit confused by that. I'm wondering if maybe the birthday was last weekend and then she's planned to like make the content come out this weekend just to stretch out her content. A lot of influencers do that and to like confuse people about the due date or the birth date of the baby. The other option is that, yeah, maybe she went in and they thought that she was going to give birth and then they said, actually, go home for a day or two. This isn't happening today. Like that definitely can happen. But yeah, in the pictures, she was very much still pregnant. So watch this space on that one. Alyssa Jane is ready to give birth. She's going to be giving birth very soon to her 3rd child. This person has asked, Olivia Molly Rogers and the pregnancy spam, do you think she will lose many followers? Not sure why you need a getting ready at 22 weeks update. Why does it matter how many weeks you are? Interestingly, I got the same question about Nikki Westcott earlier on in her pregnancy about this getting ready at 22 weeks update. I think it's just like, instead of writing getting ready with me, it just makes it more interesting. Like she's saying how far along she is, because every time someone's pregnant, people are constantly asking them how far along they are. It's also a good way to time stamp the video so that looking back on her videos once she gives birth, she can be like, oh yeah, I was 22 weeks then, like how nice or whatever. And also, because she is 22 weeks pregnant, she's probably finding that her clothes aren't fitting the way they used to. And she's saying, this is how I'm now dressing for my bump. Even though it's a very, very tiny, cute bump, it is still having to dress for a bump. I would say that. As for will she lose many followers? I imagine so. I imagine a lot of influencers do lose followers when they get pregnant, but I think that they gain more followers than what they lose. So she'll probably gain overall. What else have we got? Do you think that it's the end of an era for influencers like Sophie Cachia and Ashley Bynes? Diets and body checking seem so old school now. Absolutely, I do. I spoke about this last week or the week before, that Ashley Bynes, she's very much pivoted from like her fitness content into self-help content. And I think Sophie Cachia has done the same. Like the bod content, I don't think that is... Oh no, that is still like a fitness and food program, isn't it? She did try to tap into the self-help stuff for a while. She was offering some like $7,000 3-month mentoring program with herself. So yeah, I think that coaching and mentoring is the new fitness. Georgie Stevenson's an example. Like, she was very much into fitness back in the day and is now doing her mentoring. Oh, I did see... Yeah, I got an email from her actually, obviously not personally, it's just like a marketing email, about her new coaching that she's doing. So she's mentioned that she's pivoting away from, like, she's going to be stopping her podcast, and she's going to be offering an advanced program for 100 people, and it's going to be a coaching program. I imagine it's going to be very expensive, just the way it was written. It very much seems like she's still working with Felicity Morgan as her own coach, just the lingo that she's using. She talks about like this container will be for, you know, the advanced manifestors and things. But yeah, I suppose she hasn't released the prices yet. And with only 100 people signing up, if you want to sign up, you're probably going to have to be pretty fast with that one, because Georgie Stevenson is very influential. She's very inspirational to a lot of people. And I think that she will get 100 people to join that. Speaking of 100 people to join, gosh, I've got these weird segues, haven't I? My brain's just always like thinking about all these things. Lucy Jackson, so she announced in the last week that she is hosting a 6-hour day retreat. She is hosting that on Sunday, the 1st of February in Melbourne at Greenfields Albert Park. And that is for 110 people. So yeah, this is a little bit of a trend lately, I suppose, that it is $399, which is a higher price point than a lot of things that influencers might run, like ticketed events and things. But I think that this is becoming a bit of a thing. Like, Georgie Stevenson's got this higher price point course for only 100 people, and Lucy Jackson's doing this higher price point day retreat for 110 people. When I last checked, it hadn't sold out, so I don't know how many tickets she would have sold, but hopefully she sells a lot, because she is saying that she wants to live part-time between Melbourne and the Gold Coast this year, and I imagine that this is something that can bring her to Melbourne for a few days. And people were saying that $399 times 110 is over $40,000 for 6 hours of work, but obviously there's a lot of costs involved. I imagine the other professionals that are going to be working at the event with her, like there is a sound healing person, there is a clairvoyant, there's also a lunch and alcohol provided, which would be very expensive at that venue. Fun fact, Kayla, my sister, held a Tribe skincare event at that venue. It was hosted by Tully Smythe, so I have met Tully Smythe, but that was a few years ago, and I think the venue was beautiful. It's at a golf course in Albert Park. My sister said the only gripe she had with the venue was that it was quite dark inside. But anyway, so yeah, Lucy Jackson is hosting that event. I was going to go, but then honestly, the price is just a little bit much for me to justify. Like, only because I'd be going with my sister as well, and I sort of thought $800 for the two of us, it's a lot of money, especially post-Christmas when we've all probably spent a little bit much, if you know what I mean. But I'm sure she'll get people that are going to pay $399. It definitely sounds like it's going to be worth it for a 6-hour event. And it would obviously be very up close and personal with Lucy, which is very much an attraction of that sort of small group. All right, let me get back up to date with the comments. Oh, yeah, someone's asking that. I'll get to that in a sec. Did you see the shade that Domenica Calarco threw at Amy Shark? That was so funny. Yes, so Amy Shark was complaining this week on TikTok about a crying baby on her flight, and Domenica sort of like stitched the video saying, at least she didn't have to listen to your music, as in like Amy Shark's music is worse than the sound of a crying baby. I thought it was quite a funny comeback to such a rude thing that Amy had said. Like, obviously nobody likes the sound of a crying baby, but if you're on a plane and your baby's crying, I haven't been on a plane with my child, but I imagine it would be one of the most stressful situations. It would be horrible. Any updates with what's going on in Steph Claire Smith stories with her cryptic posts? Okay, there was a question submitted about this. Steph Claire Smith seems to be doing a lot of fun things for someone who said she was going through the worst thing she's ever faced. Also strange that she said it was about her family and friends. Like, what could possibly affect both her family and her friends? Well, a lot of things. I do know what has happened to Steph Claire Smith. It is not my place to say, but something has happened to a family friend that is really, really awful. And she would be sad. Like, of course she would be sad. And all of her family and friends would be sad about this as well. What I don't like, though, is the way that she's clickbaited it. She's given a little bit of information. So, yeah, I was saying last week on my live that it's an engagement tactic. Like, a lot of influencers do this, where they give you a little bit of information that makes you want to keep watching their stories to get more information. So many people have been asking me about this, like, what's going on with Steph Claire Smith? Like, she knows that it's a hot topic. She then had her birthday the next day, and she was saying, I shouldn't be happy today, but everybody was sending me such lovely messages, and it was so nice to have the support during this awful time. And yeah, like, I don't know. As I said last week, I feel like either talk about it or don't talk about it, but at the same time, I get that it's her job. She shares her life. She gets her engagement. It is what it is. But yeah, it is awful what's happened. She's not lying about that, if that makes any difference. Someone's saying here that Kerry Gribble had her baby. Yes, I did see that before I logged on, but she hasn't revealed the name yet, but her bio does say A+A. So I'm guessing the baby has a name starting with A. I don't love when influencers do a baby reveal, pregnancy reveal, no, like a giving birth announcement, and they don't reveal the name. It drives me crazy. I get why they do it. It's because they want to let everyone know that they've had their baby, but they want to probably tell their friends and family about the name first. It gives them a bit more time. But yeah, I'm always like, tell me, I want to know the name. Probably another engagement tactic, because yeah, you know that the name's coming, so you do keep watching their content, and I will be watching. Yeah, very much is that. What else? Someone else has mentioned Amy Shark and Domenica. Well, people are still asking about Jazz Hand and when she will announce the breakup. I imagine she'll announce the breakup when her and Peter are both ready. Like, they probably had a lot to sort out. They did live together. They'd been together a long time. They had businesses. They were living interstate from where he grew up. Maybe she grew up on the Gold Coast, I think. But yeah, like, there was a lot of logistics involved, and I imagine that, I actually think that it's really classy what she's done. Like, she's just kept it very private, and yeah, I think that it's good. It's good for their friends and family as well. I know that I'm guilty of this, but we do forget that they are real people. And yeah, I'm sure she'll tell us all when she's ready. Yep. This person saying that their guess is Alyssa Jane was going to get booked in for a C-section but got bumped off and told to come back Monday. They don't do elective C-sections very often on weekends. That is a really interesting point. I'm just wondering, because she was saying she went to the hospital for like a checkup and then was told she had to stay. But yeah, I don't know. That's definitely a possible theory. I guess we'll find out soon, because I'm sure she's going to share everything about the birth when it happens. Mitch Chury had some good thoughts on influencers being cancelled this year. I'm going to have to listen to that. Have you noticed influencers and celebs are going back to YouTube vlogs? I have, but I've also noticed that the reach on YouTube is just nothing compared to TikTok. Like, you can put hours and hours into the fanciest YouTube video ever, and you're not going to get anywhere near as many people as what would watch it on TikTok. And I think that that's the trap, I suppose. Like, why would you put all that work into YouTube when TikTok is just so much easier? Like, you don't even have to make professional content on there. But yeah, I definitely have noticed that people are going back to it. I've also noticed the move to Substack. I noticed this week that Bella Messina, she has moved to Substack. So I have been a subscriber of hers on Instagram for probably a year now. It was $4.99 a month that I was paying. And this week she announced that she's going to be finishing her subscription by the end of the week, and everyone will be refunded for their final month, and she's going to be on Substack from now on. She was saying that the reason why she's doing it is because Substack take approximately 14% of the money that she gets, so of the $4.99. She actually just said a smaller amount, but I Googled it, and Google says that on average they take 14%, whereas Instagram takes 40%. So the true facts there, because I have subscription as well, it is true, it is about 40% that you lose. 30% of that is for Google/Apple Google/Apples, and depending on what phone the person has, the payment provider or the app store or whatever takes that 30% cut of the revenue, and then the other 10% is lost with Facebook. So for example, with my subscription, people pay in Australian dollars, Meta then pay me in US dollars, and then I have to convert it back to Australian dollars. And by the time you do that, you lose another 10%, which is just so freaking annoying. So yeah, it is true that you lose about 40% of your income on Instagram. So yeah, that is a financial reason why she has moved across. I think that also with Substack, there's a lot more versatility. So with Instagram, there's very limited things that you can do with your subscribers. Like you can do lives, you can do stories, and you can do grid posts. But you can't then share those grid posts to stories, which is very annoying because a lot of people then don't see the grid posts. But you can also set up like a broadcast channel for subscribers only, but that's about it. Whereas with Substack, there's a lot more flexibility, a lot more things you can do. You can upload like PDFs, you can upload full-length movies. Like there's, a lot more versatility, similar to Patreon. So yeah. But I think that more influencers will be moving to Substack over time. At this point, I will not be moving to Substack. I know that I lose 40% of my revenue, but I believe it's worth it for having everything integrated into the one app. Like I haven't gone and subscribed to Bella's Substack because I don't want to have to check Substack every day. I already am on Instagram every day, and it was so easy to just have it in my feed. Whereas I'd have to pay for Substack firstly, and then I would have to remember to check it every day. And I would also have to learn how to use the app, which is quite annoying. All right, that's enough about Substack. This person has written, I was superseded that Nikki and Chloe had their baby showers on the same day. I thought they would be at each other's or have mutual friendship circles. Nikki Westcott and Chloe Fisher must have had their baby showers on the same day. True, being that they're both Gold Coast girlies. Well, I guess they didn't, or maybe they had them at separate times of the day. Maybe they probably did something like that. I'd say that if they invited one of their friends and then they were like, oh, I've actually got Nikki Westcott's baby shower that day, then they would probably be like, oh, well, hang on, we probably need to work something out here. But yeah, that surprises me as well. I thought that more like Lucy and Lydia were quite good friends. Oh, someone's written here that Lucy Jackson will surely have a goodie bag at her event. She may not, because she is from the Gold Coast, and having the event in Melbourne, it would be logistically quite difficult. She'd have to get everything sent to Melbourne. I suppose the other people that she's working with, they could organise that. Any updates on Lockie and Sky? No, I haven't heard anything new. This person agrees that Alyssa Jane's daughter's birthday party was probably last weekend. Yeah. Someone's saying, why can't I see any comments? Don't know. I can definitely see them. I'd say sometimes if you just log on, you can't see the old comments. So maybe hopefully you'll be able to see the new comments. The other really cool thing that happened this week was that Ali Simpson did a podcast interview with Harry Jowsey, and Harry Jowsey's my guilty pleasure. Like, I know that he is a complete F-boy, and most people seem to find him a little bit off-putting, but I just love him. I watched him on Too Hot to Handle, and I know that he's the bad guy. I get that. I don't love him because I think he's a good guy. I love him because he's a villain, and he is just so entertaining. I also watched him on Perfect Match, and again, he was just horrible to the women on that show, but that's why I love him. I love him for entertainment factor. And his interview was just so entertaining, as I expected. He told this story about how Gigi Hadid blocked him back in 2015. So this was before he was famous. He was a little bit famous on Ask FM, which was kind of like NGL, the link that I use for people to submit anonymous questions. It was kind of like that. You would just ask people questions and he would just answer them all the time. And he had a crush on Ali Simpson at the time, coincidentally. Just online. He hadn't met her. And he commented publicly that he and Ali are in a relationship and took each other's virginity. He commented that on, I think, one of Ali's... No, I think he actually posted his own photo saying that. And then Ali actually commented on it, "Be cool, bro." And all of her fans went off at him in the comments, and her mum went off at him. And Gigi was dating Cody Simpson, her brother, at the time, and blocked Harry Jowsey. And then later on, they were working together on something, and he went to tag her on his stories, and he actually couldn't tag Gigi, and he didn't want to explain to her that he's blocked because then he would have to tell her the story and he was so embarrassed by it. So yeah, to this day, he said that he had never told that story publicly, and I just thought it was so funny. If I used to follow Ali Simpson back in the day when Gigi was dating Cody, and he released that song Surfboard, and Ali released the song Notice Me, like that. I think that's also why I love the podcast so much. I just think Ali's so cute, and I met her last year at the Chemist Warehouse event, which was so fun for me. What else did he say? Oh, he confirmed that he's not dating Anna Paul. He said that they're just friends and he thinks that she's the nicest person ever. Oh, I didn't actually put this in my summary, but he was saying, I believe he was saying he went out with her and her brother New Year's Eve, and they were saying they were too scared to go out, so he hired security to go out with them, but then nobody even bothered them, and they were like, oh, okay, that's all right then. But yeah, I thought that was a little bit of an interesting insight. And yeah, that's about all the juicy stuff. Oh, Ali Simpson said she's moving back to LA soon as well, so that's pretty interesting. Wonder what she's planning to do there. I imagine she's got something lined up. She wouldn't just be moving there for no reason. Okay, what else have we got? We've got 7 more minutes. Just going to check my questions again and see if there was anything that I haven't covered. Oh, there were a few criticisms this week about my coverage of the Elodie Pullen thing. I feel like it's a very, very big topic. Like, a lot of people have been reading about it. A lot of people are on Elodie's side. A lot of people are on Chumpy's dad's side. And yeah, it's a very polarizing topic. But that's all right. I don't mind a bit of criticism. It is totally fine. Everyone's allowed to have their own opinion on things. Oh yeah, Sophie Cachia. She also did a podcast interview this week. And there was a lot of really interesting business things in it. But the most interesting one, I would say, was that she mentioned that during COVID, that is when her brand was the most popular thing, because obviously everyone was at home a lot and buying pajamas and had money. She said during COVID lockdowns, they were selling 10,000 pairs of pajamas in 90 seconds on launch day. Now, I don't know if that's an exaggeration, sort of like we sold 10,000 pairs, or if that is factual, because that is insane to sell 10,000 pairs in 90 seconds on a launch day. But yeah, fun fact there. I imagine she very much implied that the business isn't that successful now. Like, it's still successful, but it's not as successful as 10,000 pairs in 90 seconds. That was like the peak. What else have we got here? Oh, podcast summaries are just my favorite thing ever. I love doing them and people love reading them. I post a lot of them to subscribers. So yeah, instead of having to listen to all the podcasts, like all the pop culture podcasts, you can just read my summaries. Pick out all the best parts anyway. I think I do anyway. Funny. Oh yeah, this was actually a really big story that happened this week. Can't believe I forgot about this. So Mia Freedman, she has been posting her outfits lately. She's been posting 20 carousels, like 20 image carousels of different outfits that she's been creating. And she created this one album explaining that she's been trying to emulate Copenhagen-style layered outfits lately. And she posted 20 that she is loving. And the comments on that post were, I mean, you need to go read them, but also it's kind of mean to go read them because they were honestly just so mean. I couldn't even believe it. Everyone was saying that the outfits were hideous and disgusting, and they can't believe her friends wouldn't even tell her that the outfits were so awful. And in one of them, she's holding a kettle, and someone thought it was many people thought it was a handbag, but I think she was just genuinely carrying a kettle because she has a handbag. These are some of the outfits. Oh, it's a bit hard to see. It's a bit pointless to see, but they are very layered. So she's definitely gone for the Copenhagen-style layered outfits. I did then Google Copenhagen-style layered outfits, and I can definitely see what she's trying to achieve. I personally love the outfits. Now, I know that's a bit controversial, but I just think, like, when I see her on social media, I actually get excited to see what she's wearing. I think, what is she going to be wearing today? I know that it's not traditional fashion. Like, she's very much... Someone was saying that it looks like she's a child that's raided the dress-up box because she's just got all these random mismatched things on. But at least her outfits are interesting, you know? And she'd probably never repeat an outfit because she's got so many different layers and bits and pieces in it that you just could mix and match everything. I don't know. I think that it's really interesting. And I feel like my stepmom dresses like this as well. Like, she just wears every time I see her, she's just got something completely random on, and I just think it's a great look. This person saying the outfits were definitely left field, but the comments were not it. I agree. They are left field, but that's what I like about them. This person saying Mia Freedman, she is a multimillionaire. Yes, that is who we're talking about. And yes, she is a multimillionaire. This person saying she's always had weird, expensive taste. Maybe that's why. Because, yeah, she does buy very expensive clothes. Like, these aren't just Kmart and Cotton On clothes. Like, they're all expensive clothes, but the outfits don't look expensive because they're all mismatched. I guess that's some of the feedback. People are saying that Sophie's facts definitely would be exaggerated and maybe the sales only went for 90 seconds. No, they didn't go for 90 seconds. I'm sure of that. And this person is saying it's better than fast fashion, that she spends a lot of money on expensive brands. True, but she does seem to have a lot of clothes. So is buying expensive, like ethically sourced clothes, but a lot of them, is that any different to buying fast fashion? I'm not sure. I don't know the ethics of that one. This person saying Alyssa just posted a photo with post-surgery socks on. Yeah, that's what I mean. So maybe she did have the C-section and the Autumn's birthday was last weekend. Or maybe it was on Friday, Thursday. Who knows? It doesn't have to be on a weekend, does it? Sarah Stay needs to give us something different. This person is saying that they're bored from the fitness challenges every 3 months. Totally agree. Totally bored with the fitness challenges. She's currently camping with a whole heap of friends. She's been gifted this insane caravan. It's called Titanium, I think. So Chloe Fisher and Fisher, they were the face of this brand last year, and they were loaned a caravan, and now Sarah's Day's been loaned one, and it looks, I googled it and I think it was $180,000, so it's pretty insane. But she was saying that her plan was to start her challenge while she was on holidays, but then she woke up and it was pouring rain, and I just thought, I suppose that's her job. I suppose that's her job, isn't it, to start her challenge? But I just thought, just chill out. Like, it's raining, you're camping on holidays with all your family, just chill out. It actually sounds really exhausting being an influencer. I think that's what it is. I know they get a bad rap for having the easiest job in the world, but I actually think it would be exhausting. Eclectic, that's what people are describing Mia's style as. Yes, I would definitely describe it as eclectic. I think that is the perfect word. Are you Team Melody or Chumpy's dad? I'm Team Melody. All right, well, I think that I'm going to sign off for the night. Thank you all so much for joining on this Saturday night, and hope you're all having a great weekend and have a great Sunday tomorrow. And I will talk to you all soon. If you do have any questions that I didn't get to, please send me a DM. I love talking about influencers, and I will see you all next week. Okay, bye.